runway of Charles de Gaulle Airport flashes by as our Air France jet takes off. Soon we're soaring over Paris. Two hours later, we are over the Spanish plains. Chueca is an adjective meaning bent, crooked, or shady. To us it seems friendly and lively. At night, the city comes alive with tapas joints and jazz. Short train ride south of Madrid, the river Tajo forms a moat around the fortified medieval city of Toledo. Just inside the walls of the city, an old monastery displays the discarded shackles of Christian prisoners liberated from the Moors in the Reconquista. On the 18th of December, in the year 665, the Archbishop of Toledo, San Ildefonso, was visited by the Virgin Mary. She brought him a new heavenly robe, and her footprints are still visible and can be touched by the fingers of the faithful today. He wanted all the archbishops of Toledo since St. Stephen's time to be depicted here, so the whole top row, starting over there, are all the saints. St. Stephen lived in the year 1003, so nobody knows what these guys looked like. So, for all of these archbishops, there are only three faces, copied over and over. Flamenco music and dance can be found all over Andalusia, but Seville is a real hotbed for this art form. Seville is loaded with churches, and the main cathedral is the final resting place of Christopher Columbus. The huge bronze memorial sculpture rises out of the gloom, startling in its grandeur. My favorite part is the pattern of bats on the robe of one of the pallbearers. These days, Spaniards seem to prefer fun to profundity. The Royal Alcazar Palace was the residence of Ferdinand and Isabella. It was here that Columbus was commissioned by the King and Queen for his voyage of discovery. Driving south, deeper into Andalusia, we pull over into a service station. The view is spectacular, revealing the medieval wall town Arcos de la Frontera. Inside the walls we buy some delicious almond and walnut cookies at the convent of the Mercedarian nuns. Locked away from the world, an unseen nun asks what we would like, and we pass the money and receive the fresh cookies through a rotating screen. There's a wedding at the cathedral today. The narrow medieval streets challenge the arriving guests. The land rises steep and rugged beyond Arcos. The town of Ronda straddles the Guadalquivir River, running through the deep El Tajo Canyon, which is spanned by the Puente Nuevo, or New Bridge. Just as dramatic, the nearby town Centinela de las Bodegas is built under a rock.
Look at this.
This gorge has been inhabited since caveman times.
So how long have these places been here?
Cool in the summer, warm in the winter. The cavemen knew something.
I've driven down here before.
The Hotel La Fuente de la Higuera, or the Fountain of the Fig Trees, is our base for a couple of days. Dirt roads, quacking ducks, herds of sheep are a balm after the noisy cobblestones, honking taxis, and crowded cafes of Paris, Madrid, and Seville. The pomegranate is the symbol of the Kingdom of Granada. This Moorish dynasty was overthrown by the forces of Ferdinand and Isabella in 1492. We have decided to hire a taxi to drive us to the medieval section of Granada, the Albaicin.
It says there, pregúntate sobre tus miedos. Wonder yourself.
After checking into our hotel, our enthusiastic guide leads us on foot up the steep cobblestones into Sacromonte. We're wearing thin-soled, lightweight footwear. The Gitanos, or Gypsies, inhabited these caves soon after the expulsion of the Moors by Ferdinand and Isabella.
Josie and John are looking for a cave to rent in the Sacromonte neighborhood of Granada, Spain. Just off the public terrace, cave number 1 features windows in every grotto and a view of the Alhambra. Newly renovated, it features the most up-to-date cavern comforts and is beautifully decorated.
If you got that house with the cave.
Back in the Albaicin, we walk to St. Nicholas Square. The stunning view of the Alhambra draws people like a magnet. The next day, we wandered through the gardens and palaces for a couple of hours. The Moorish architects harnessed the natural aquifer of the Sierra Nevada, and water flows through fountains and reflecting pools. Carved plaster walls and ceilings soar in rooms built in the 13th century. Centuries of neglect take their toll on the palace, and conservators and restorers are always at work here. Here, workers are using ultraviolet light to detect repairs in the original tiles. The Alcazar of Cordoba was a royal residence before the Reconquista. Queen Isabella grants asylum to the Queen of Sardinia here, and her hospitality is celebrated in this modern bas-relief. Hospitality of a different type is extended to conversos, or Jews, who converted to the Catholic faith to avoid expulsion at the end of the Reconquista. The warrior queen turns the dungeons of this castle over to the Spanish Inquisition in the 15th century. A short walk from the Alcazar, we see workmen around the great mosque and cathedral of Cordoba. Founded as a Catholic church around the year 600 AD, it is divided into Muslim and Christian halves. The Catholics take over again in 1236 and build a Renaissance cathedral smack dab in the middle of the ancient mosque. It's a real mashup, but still intensely beautiful. In the floodplain below the Roman bridge, a huge herd of sheep grazes peacefully. The true Andalusia is neither pagan nor Jewish, neither Christian nor Muslim. It's the land itself.